Companion was a song I started kind of like trying to pull something out of nothing in Nashville. I rented a studio for a week to just sit and write alone, and it took about 5 days to put together. I'd kind of been into some like 90s breakbeat stuff, right? So I was like heavily listening to these kind of breakbeat sounding things, and I wanted to put together something that felt like gave me that kind of emotion, unlike Once in a Lifetime on the first record, but like just like don't be afraid of some congas, you know, like dirt. And so we married a live kit to kind of like what that machine loop feels like, and you know, TLA did his thing and an amazing job down in Miami of marrying those worlds, and like he mixed a lot of those records that inspired the song. So you know, it was for me a long creative sort of, this is the demo here. So I had this kind of random machine loop pulled before I made it perfect, but it's basically a cute version, less crude version of the way we ended up using it. Story of being alone, surrounded by, you know, the person that's supposed to make you feel full and whole, and instead you feel half and empty. And I know I was in a relationship on the first record cycle with the Night Game that, for better for worse, I think for better, man, the lessons that you get out of being in a relationship like that, where you're kind of like looking at the other person and, why am I here? Why am I here? And like, you're supposed to be my companion. Like, why do I feel so alone? And would I feel less alone if I just was alone? I think as you get older, you get more and more disappointed, because this particular relationship, I was so disappointed with in myself. I felt like I should have known. Like I should have known from the beginning, and like, how was I fooled again? How was I tricked again? And went all the way down this line, and then, you know, I'm an only child. It's like, I know how to be alone. I can figure it out. I can figure out life, and sometimes I thrive in that space. But it's like, you feel the clock ticking to find your companion and the person that you're supposed to be with. And I think it's human nature to want to find somebody where the pieces fit and like your imperfections work with theirs. And it wasn't the case once again for me. And it was good to have that kind of outlet. I hadn't had an angry, most of my songs about love had been like kind of more longing and nostalgic and about the past and longing for, you know, being 18 and that the fire that there was, or I'm sorry that I was a dick and needed to be free. Kind of wish I didn't do that. And instead I had like a little bit of a fire on this one. So kind of like drum wise, we went with the 90s break thing, and then the rest of it's got just kind of some interesting noise on it. There's like some weird, Brandon's so great at pulling in the weirdest sounds and making them cohesive and work. We wanted to marry the guitars and the pads here in a way that it kind of sat not as a wall of sound, but as all of that played as one thing. so much fuzz, and it's like, okay, when you want that fuzz, kind of you want to go to another time. It's the amount of noise floor that's like specifically on those guitars is pretty intense and wild. The seagulls that are rolling the whole thing is just kind of like an old school guitar trick where you take this kind of like a, it's really just guitar delay, there's no fake bass. It's like just old school, great playing, and these two boys, marriage of kind of like the machine elements and the energy of the real stuff. Elle and I did a bunch of work on her first record, a song called America's Sweetheart that came out, and she walked into the room the first time I met her with a 40, and she was talking in an Australian accent and talking about a breakup that she just had, and she's like, well, he's a pussy and he wears flip-flops, and I like the Standard anyway better than his apartment. And I was like, this girl's a star. Like, that is the sickest thing I've ever heard in my life. And she's like, you want to write a song? Pulls out her banjo, sticks it in between her legs, and is like, let's write a song. And we write America's Sweetheart. So when it was like, man, I got to sing a song where like there's an anger and there's a fire. It was just like, man, I'm calling up to Elle, and it led to, and this feature ended up reinvigorating a relationship. I ended up writing 6 or 7. We wrote 6 or 7 songs together that are going to be out on her new record, and it's one from back in that time in 2014 is going to come out, and it's super exciting. But she really, really blessed this song with her deal and her kind of grit and anger.
I know it's hard to leave the couch.
She's just unbelievable.
I'm out here working hand to mouth.
I just believe her so much, and the commitment that she just fully stuck the landing on this. And like in the demo, I'm singing the girl's part, and it's like, I was so lucky, that she was in a place in her career where she said yes to this. It was like just really luck and a synergy that led to a big time collaboration on her on her next record that hasn't come out yet. So we weren't even sure how it was going to blend, and then it's like, that raw. She was going through a breakup when she came in to sing it, and she was kind of going through the same thing, and she's just like, I believe this lyric. I want to sing this lyric. I'm pissed off. I do not have to dig deep. And it was like, get on the mic quick. And man, it was like, sometimes those things end up being like really industry, and like kind of like, it's almost like an arranged marriage. It's about the cash, and it's about the having some kind of the hot new thing. And instead, this was just, it felt so good because it was kind of one text message away from her showing up and just laying down one of the sickest vocals that we've ever cut here. And me and Brandon are just standing there looking at her cut this thing like, you gotta be joking me. And they came together quick, and hopefully there's like an anger and an energy and an intention in it that, rings true to the story.